And look, a lot of the young coaches go through this, right? Like Eric Spoelstra went through this in 2011,
Yeah.
where they ran into a vastly less talented Dallas Mavericks team and got smacked because they got outcoached. And the veterans on that Dallas team were just smarter and better in the key moments. So if you look at like Jason Quick wrote a great story on Spoelstra earlier this season where Spoelstra spent like the whole summer just holed up, like, how do I figure this out? How do I understand like how to take myself to the next level so I can unlock this team? And to me, that's
I
kind of
don't
what
think he's
Joe
gonna get
Mazzulla
that
has to
summer.
go
No,
through.
no, no, oh, one, I think it's
They
I,
just signed him full time.
I don't.
They believe in Joe. He was put in a terrible situation.
I mean, no.
He
That's
got
hold on,
3
hold
days
on.
before training camp. Yeah.
But that's my point. We talk about the Draymond punch derailing the Warriors season. We don't talk too much. We don't talk enough about losing Udoka 3 days before training camp and putting and having lost Hardy and kind of the brain drain that the Celtics sort of had when once Hardy left and then Udoka goes. We don't talk about it enough of that derailing the Celtics season. Part of it is because they've how they started and how they rolled with all of that stuff. But I think we almost have to put it on that level of the Draymond punch and Ime Udoka getting suspended and eventually fired is a really kind of one of the major problems for this because I don't think people understand when a new coach takes over, he has the entire summer to put a plan together, figure things out, and put the whole, what are we going to do training camp? How are we going to attack offense? Just having a coach's retreat that you run, not being a guest in it, but running it matters a ton. And I think those are the things that Mazzulla missed out on in that sense. I'll be honest, Trey, like I can see it going both ways, but I think it'd be a mistake just to fire Joe. I think he's in over his head in this situation, but I think we've kind of seen the case across the board with the Heat staying with Spoelstra, with the Nuggets staying with Malone for so long. Like I think there's a level of like let him grow within this. They need to get him a better help on the
I think it's
bench.
a cop. I think at this time, Mo, to be honest, it's a copycat league. The same way you look at the corporations in the Google format and you say, hey, they're firing. Now your job might be great, but they're just asking everybody at this point because it is the cool thing to do. Now, at this particular time, his timing could not be worse right now. Right. I think he has a chance to get better and, should be given that chance. But the expectations, you got a team that just came from the finals and you, quote unquote, have somehow lost his locker room. You think that they would give another shot to, they have almost $500 million committed to their star players.
Yeah, but why aren't we killing them? But why aren't we killing them? Because those
we should, but this is a this is a players' league.
But the organization needs to be smarter with this in terms of how they approach this. And I get all that stuff. They're about to pay Jaylen Brown the mega max, and they're going to have 100 million committed. They're going to have 100 million committed.
310 to Tatum.
Yeah, they're going to have 100 million every season committed to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum coming up here. Like, I think the first reaction, let's just fire the coach and get in a new one. That actually doesn't fix the problem. And now you're going to have 4 coaches in 4 years. Like, we're just watching continuity kind of win out in these playoffs right now. We're watching the Nuggets have it continuity. They're going to probably go to the finals, and we're going to get to them in a second. And now Miami, who's going to go to the finals with continuity and having that group. You're just going to throw it away with 4 coaches in 4 years if you just fire Joe. I feel like, and don't get me wrong, he's in way over his head. I think the mistake they made was removing the interim tag off the bat. And I think because now it painted them in this corner where we get to have this discussion of like, do you fire Joe or whatnot? It's not so easy now. Now, because you gave him the extension and all of that stuff. I think it's a hard thing. I get what you're saying.
This is like lying on your resume. It's like lying on your resume.
Yeah.